now we're starting electrophysiology, and this chapter is super short, and it's not going to be bad, okay? Believe that, and it'll be true.
I believe it.
Okay, so there are two major plexuses, plexi? I don't know what the plural of that word is.
Fancy.
Of the enteric nervous system. What are they?
Our box.
Enteric. And what?
Oh, enteric.
Okay, so our box is also known as what?
Enteric.
I thought that's what you were asking the whole time. I'm sorry. We said our box. I thought you were like, or what else is it called? So I just kept repeating.
And then there's another one. What is it?
Meisters. Or submucosal.
Nailed it.
She kept asking, and I was like, "Am I wrong?"
You're not
She's just ignoring you.
per se. I even have them written here already. Okay.
I'm good.
So, where is the myenteric plexus located?
Between longitudinal and circular smooth muscles.
Perfect. Okay, and where is the submucosal plexus located? So it's going to be in like the submucosal layer. So the tunica
Don't take me
submucosa.
back to histology. I still have nightmares.
Aw, you made it though. Proud of you.
I'm proud of my histology grade. You should
Did you get an
have
A?
worked my ass off for
You
it.
should all be proud of you.
It's
No.
in the what?
But it was my third
Was it
highest
TA?
The
grade.
tunica submucosa.
Oh.
I was
Okay.
You'd be.
almost
I see.
like 79 or something like that.
You should be proud of that.
I am.
You should be.
Because I came up from like a 61.
Yeah.
Maybe I did get a B. No, I don't remember. It doesn't matter anymore.
Doesn't matter.
I got a B by 1 point.
Like on the line for an A or?
No. Like on the line for a C.
Oh.
I got it by 1
Good job.
point. Not a percent. A point. It's fine.
Okay. So I'm just gonna keep going because this isn't too bad. So we have ICCs. What is an ICC?
Interstitial cell of Kalha.
Cell of Cahal.
Perfect. And what
Pacemaker cells.
what does that mean?
They are the ones that control what is happening. So they're the ones that are sending out the, I'm assuming, voltage that allows the muscle to contract.
Perfect. And I lost my question. But what are they similar to in the heart?
They're similar to the
Oh,
SA note.
SA.
SA node.
So the SA node is always just constantly depolarizing at a set rate. And that's exactly what the interstitial cells of Cahal do. They're basically the same thing. They're still muscle. They're just in a different place and somebody else found them, so we gave them a different name.
Cool.
Cool? Great.
Not cool.
Alright, so there are 3 types of interstitial cells of Cahal that are more closely associated with the myenteric plexus.
Okay.
Do you remember what those are called?
So myenteric.
Okay. So ICCIMs,
Yeah.
or ICCMY, sorry.
And then IM is intermuscular.
Mm-hmm.
And septa.
Yeah, we didn't talk too much about them, but we'll just kind of chat about that. Okay, so first off, where specifically are your ICC myenterics? Yeah, they are. Good. Which is where?
In the longitudinal smooth muscle.
It's between the longitudinal and the circular. So in my lovely drawing here,
Beautiful.
these dots are longitudinal smooth muscles, and then these here are the circulars. So the blue X are all your myenteric interstitial cells of Cahal.
There's 2 blue X's though, right?
There's a whole circle of blue
Almost
X's.
cracked there, but the ones in the center are purple.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Keep going. I
Okay.
just, to keep my mind straight.
I don't know how else to.
No, keep going.
I can make
That's
some
fine.
of them circles.
No,
Here, I'll make these ones
that takes way too
circles.
much time. As long as Kale's here to just kind of point me in the right direction, we're good.
Here, okay. So the blue X's, those are gonna be your ICCMYs.
Okay.
And what do? They have a very specific function. So they are specifically the pacemakers. Which, Sarah, are like what cells in the heart?
The SA node.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff.
Perfect. Okay, that's really all you need to know about the myenteric ICCs. Cool. They have a constant pacemaker. They're like SA node. They're between the circular and longitudinal smooth muscle of the gut. Great. Awesome. Okay, your ICCIMs. Where are they? It's in the name.
In the muscle.
In the circular muscle. What do they do? They're a little bit more complicated.
They say yes or no.
They do. How? Okay, so remember our vagal excitatory and vagal inhibitory fibers? Does that ring any happy memories?
Old dusty.
Old sad memories? Okay, so they are going to come in. We're going to say this is a VEF or a VIF. And depending on what they say to the ICCIMs depends on if the constant pacemaker depolarization from the myenteric ICCs is enhanced or inhibited. So your signal from your ICCIMs is like traveling through the smooth muscle cells and the other little cells that are hanging out. When it gets to the ICCIMs, so the intermusculars, they are innervated by the vagal excitatory or inhibitory fibers, and that constant pacemaker, the vagal excitatory are going to excite it and make it go faster or be more strong. The vagal inhibitories will slow it down or stop it or make it weaker. Is that okay? Okay. And this is kind of important. So your VEF and VIF, what do they secrete?
Acetylcholine.
Mm-hmm. Onto what kind of receptor?
A nicotinic.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, I was hoping I would try on that. I was pretty
That was good.
confident.
That was
She
good.
went the opposite way, and I was like, oh no.
Okay, and then coming out of your ICCIMs, there's going to be excitatory or enteric excitatory motor neurons and enteric inhibitory motor neurons. And what are they going to secrete? Tell me your excitatory.
Acetylcholine.
Mm-hmm. One more.
Substance P.
And your EIMNs?
No.
Yeah, P.
No VIP.
Wow. No VIP. Okay.
No fit, okay.
What does no do?
It inhibits things, stops them,
Relaxes.
More specific.
relaxes things.
Uh-huh. Through what kind of receptor?
A muscarinic.
Yeah. That was a guess, though. Is it GS, GQ, or GI?
Oh, G. I.
S.
Why is it GS?
Because think back to last chapter.
Yeah, because NO came from over here
Mm-hmm.
and did the C GMP,
Mm-hmm.
and then it went into the.
Tell me what it does.
So
Inhibits.
can it tell me?
Yeah. He's almost there.
Yeah.
G.
It stimulates GC
Mm-hmm.
to secrete NO, or it
Yeah.
or NO
NO stimulates a
GC.
GS to make GC.
That's why it's stimulatory.
Okay, so we had a GS. I'm just gonna go back. So there was a GS over here.
Uh-huh.
That was me making
That
PKA.
one was making camp, yeah, and PKA.
And then this was also GS.
Yeah. I just didn't draw it very well. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm very visual if you can't tell.
Okay,
Here you go.
I'm sorry I
No,
didn't
no,
draw it.
you're fine. I just want to make sure that my mind's working. Got it now.
Okay, I'm
Just
trying to
locked in.
integrate things a little
Yeah,
more.
it's fine.
So, I guess remember when we
quick
first
review
took
the
it,
VEF and how you get to
and
EE.
you have GS,
then
which
GI.
makes the NO and the CAP
Mm-hmm.
and GI
Okay,
basically
so you have
stops.
your vagus is here, sends out a vagal excitatory or vagal inhibitory
Mhm.
fiber, okay? Are they preganglionic or postganglionic?
Goes, then
Great.
you're not making the
Okay.
rest, but GI.
So they are going to sign up here in our plexus,
Okay.
and it's going to cause a new cell, which is going to be called an EEMN or an EIMN. Is that pre or postganglionic? Post. So, our preganglionic neurons of any type ever only release acetylcholine onto nicotinic receptors. Always and forever, this will be true. Your postganglionic fibers are where specificity comes in. So we can be inhibiting something, we can be exciting something, but we can release different things.
And that's acting on more cells within the myoteric plexus.
It's going to be, yes, but don't think of it that complicated. Just think that it's going to whatever the effector cell is and saying you're going to do this or you're not going to do this.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So can I ask a
Yes.
clarification question?
Yes.
The acetylcholine
Mhm.
coming out of the enteric excitatory motor neuron
Mhm.
goes to a muscarinic receptor,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
But the acetylcholine coming from your VIF or VEF is nicotinic.
Good.
Okay, cause I missed that question on that quiz, cause I was confused.
So the nicotinic receptor, is it an ion channel or is it a GPCR?
GPC.
Ion channel. Nicotinic
So
is an ion.
nerve to nerve is ion because we want it to be fast because nerves are fast.
Mm.
And then nerve to effector cell is muscarinic because we want it to be specific.
Okay.
Okay? You need nerve to run from bears. But in order to do complex things, you need specificity. Okay?
I can't wait till I'm 70.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm gonna not fight a bear. Ain't no more
No.
running.
No more runners.
It's very specific, I know.
Yeah, okay.
It's all about my life plan. We'll go over it someday.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so your ICCIMs do what?
They either stimulate or inhibit. Or enhance or
Slow down.
slow down
The pacemaker. So they say yes or no to pacemaker. Perfect. So then do you guys remember what the SEPTA ICCs do?
Not really.
So let's say that your pacemaker is coming out of your ICC myenterics. Your ICCIM says, yes, you can keep sending that because our vagal excitatory fibers are working. Your SEPTA ICC are going to be in between bundles of circular muscle. So remember in histology, like there was the row of circular muscle, but they're all kind of like clamped off. Like there'll be some here, then there'll be some next to it. So your SEPTA ICC are in between those little bits of smooth muscle, and they just kind of amplify whatever signal they get. So any signal that comes to them, they just say, yes, make it louder, because if it got this far, it needs to keep going. Does that make sense?
So they basically do the same thing as the IM.
They're not innervated by like your vagus or pelvic nerve. So they don't have any like CNS
Okay.
innervation, and they don't inhibit the signal. It's just like a loudspeaker.
Okay.
Whatever comes to them, they just make it louder.
Okay. Gotcha.
Whereas your ICCIMs actually get to make part of the decision.
Okay.
Okay? Does that make sense?
So it just like continues the.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
What cells in the heart are the septa ICC similar to? Does that make sense? Because once those Purkinje fibers get the signal, they just amplify it to the whole heart. So your septa ICC just amplify the signal to the whole gut that they're around. those are all the interstitial cells of Cajal of the myenteric plexus. Anyone have any questions about those? Cody, are you good?
I'm good.
Okay. So the only other one we have to talk about is the submucosal plexus. And what kind of cells do we find there? They're very special. What does the submucosal plexus do?
I don't remember that.
Okay, okay.
You talk so much about myenteric, I don't know what the submucosal does.
Okay, so the
Yeah.
myenteric plexus is contraction. Does that make sense? Because all these three have something to do with contraction. So your submucosal, your Meissner's plexus is in the tunica submucosa, which is where the glands are. So it is doing secretion. So you have these specialized enteric motor neurons that we call secretomotor neurons. So you'll have this is your brain and your spinal cord. Your vagus comes out of the brain. It's going to, these are going to be vagal excitatory fibers because there aren't really any inhibitory fibers from the vagus that go to your secretomotor neurons. So they're going to synapse here in your submucosal plexus onto secretomotor neurons, SMN, and they're going to release what two neurotransmitters? This is kind of a trap.
This is kind of a trap.
Acetylcholine and VIP. Yes, acetylcholine and VIP. But I thought VIP was inhibitory. Why is VIP released here excitatory?
Is it inhibiting an inhibitor?
Do what?
So you've told us this before.
Not quite.
It's because it's. I don't know. You told us before.
It's okay. So your target cell is different. So our target cell here is a gland. And what that gland is expressing and what that gland does with VIP is different than what a smooth muscle cell expresses on its membrane and what it does with VIP.
Okay.
Does that,
Yes.
you good with that? Okay. I think that's all you need to know from chapter 3 for the most part.
What does VIP stand for again?
Vasoactive
Intestinal
polypeptide.
Okay.
What questions do you have from this one?
That's it.
Okay.
If we're gonna keep going though,
Yeah.
we need to recheck out the room.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm gonna stop this, or do you want to keep going?
No, you can stop it. That's
Okay.
fine.